Dear students, now we will start the new chapter, capacitors and dielectrics. And topic of this chapter is capacitance of a conductor. Capacitance of a conductor is a measure of its ability to hold the electric charge. And as the charge is increased, its potential is also increased. Charge of the conductor is directly proportional to the electric potential. And there should be a constant that is represented by C, and C is known as capacity of capacitance of conductor, and it should be C equal to Q upon V, and unit of C, it should be coulomb per volt, and 1 coulomb per volt is known as 1 farad. 1 farad is a very big quantity, and in general we use 1 microfarad, that is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 farad, 1 nanofarad 10 to the power minus 9 farad, 1 picofarad 10 to the power minus 12 farad. These are the other unit of capacitance, and we can also determine the dimensional formula of C, that is equal to coulomb. Coulomb means A into T upon volt, work done upon Q, or we can write A into T, charge we can write A into T square upon W, that is work done. A square T square, work done means force into displacement. Dimension formula of force is mLT minus 2 and displacement is L. M inverse 1 L into L inverse 2 T square upon T minus 2 T to the power 4 A square. It would be the dimensional formula of capacitance. Now we can determine the capacitance of a spherical conductor. Capacitance of a isolated spherical conductor. Suppose this is a sphere and this is a center, and we can consider that a charge plus Q is uniformly distributed on the surface of a sphere, and we know that the electric lines are always perpendicular to the surface of a sphere, and we can consider the electric lines are coming from the center of the sphere, and we can assume that there is a charge plus Q at the center of the sphere. Suppose radius of sphere is small r, and voltage at the surface of sphere, it should be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon r. R is radius of the sphere, and we know that C is equal to Q upon V, capacitance of this conductor. Q upon V is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon A. Q cancel out, and C is 4 pi epsilon naught A. This is capacity of the spherical conductor. This is the direction of electric field, and electric field will be always outside the sphere for plus Q charge. And from this formula we can see that 4 pi epsilon naught is constant, C is directly proportional to A. As the radius of the sphere is increased, capacity of the sphere is also increased. We can also draw a curve between capacity and radius of the sphere. X-axis we take radius of the sphere, and this is capacity, and we know that the C is directly proportional to A. It means the curve between C and A should be like that. And if a dielectric K is dielectric constant. If a dielectric is introduced around the sphere, then capacity should be 4 pi epsilon naught Ka. Epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. After introducing this dielectric, capacity becomes C dash equal to 4 pi epsilon naught Ka. It means capacity is also directly proportional with the dielectric constant. If we draw a curve between capacity and dielectric constant, it is also like that. In x-axis we can take dielectric constant, this is capacity, and it is also like the graph of C and A. From this formula we can also determine the new unit of permittivity, and we know that C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught A, and epsilon should be C upon 4 pi A. C, unit of C is farad and unit of A is meter, farad per meter. While in previous formula unit we have written coulomb per Newton, coulomb per Newton per meter square. It means we have two-dimensional formula of permittivity, farad per meter and coulomb per Newton per meter square. If capacity of a spherical capacitor is 1 farad, C is 1 farad of a spherical capacitor. It means C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught A, and A should be C upon 4 pi epsilon naught. C is 1 farad, and 4 pi epsilon naught, we know that 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9. And if we put the value of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, it becomes 9 into 10 to the power 9. And radius should be 9 into 10 to the power 9 meter. It means if a spherical capacitor having a capacity 1 farad, its radius should be 9 into 10 to the power 9 meter, which is practically not possible. That's why we can say that 1 farad is a very big unit. Now, new topic, potential energy of a charge conductor. Suppose a conductor having a charge Q, potential V, and capacitance of that conductor is C, then potential should be Q upon V. And suppose if we bring a dq small charge from infinity to the surface of the conductor, then work done should be dw is equal to V into dq. Here dw is a work done to bring this small dq charge from infinity, and we know that V is Q upon C into dq. And to determine work done, we can integrate this dw, and it becomes Q upon C dq, as C is a constant, 1 upon C integrate Q dq, and integration of Q is Q square upon 2, Q square upon 2C. This work done is stored in charge conductor in the form of potential energy. It means this dw equal to U half Q square upon C. This is potential energy of the charge conductor. And we know that Q is equal to CV. Q is equal to CV. If we put the value of Q, then potential energy becomes half Q is CV means C square V square upon C, or half CV square. It means potential energy in the form of capacitance and potential is half CV square. These two formula represents that potential energy is directly proportional to Q square and potential energy is directly proportional to V square, square of the potential. We can draw a curve between potential energy and charge. Suppose charge on x-axis and this is potential energy. And from this formula we know that U is directly proportional to Q square when C is constant, and it should be like this. And if we draw a curve between potential energy and potential V, again potential energy is directly proportional to V square as C is constant, and it should be again like this. This is curve between U, potential energy and potential, and this is curve between potential energy and charge. Now the next topic is redistribution of charges. Suppose we have two insulated conductors A and B. Capacitances are C1, C2, potential V1, V2, charge Q1, Q2, and capacity of this conductor is, it should be Q1 equal to C1 V1, and it should be Q2 equal to C2 V2. Now we join these conductors by a small wire, and after joining, the total charge of the system becomes Q1 plus Q2 as charge starts to flow from high potential to low potential whenever the total potential becomes V, common potential, and total capacity becomes C1 plus C2, and this V should be total charge of the system upon total capacitance. Now after joining, these two insulated conductors become a system, and total charge of the system is Q1 plus Q2 and total capacitance is C1 plus C2, and it should be total charge means Q1 plus Q2 upon C1 plus C2. Now the charge is flowing from one conductor to another conductor. It means charge is changed after joining from the wire. Suppose charge of this conductor becomes Q1 dash, new charge after joining, and charge of this conductor becomes Q2 dash. Now Q1 dash should be capacity of this conductor is C1, but potential of both capacitor becomes V. This is a common potential as we have joined by a wire C1V, and similarly Q2 dash, which is new charge of this conductor, it should be C2V. And now ratio of these two charges Q1 dash upon Q2 dash, it should be C1V upon C2V, or we can say C1 upon C2. It means ratio of new charges of both the conductor is equal to the ratio of capacitance of both the conductors. Now we can determine the quantity of transfer charge. Before joining, charge is Q1 of this conductor, and after joining, charge is Q1 dash, and difference of both represents the transfer of quantity of the charge. Q1 is C1V1 minus Q1 dash is C1V. Q1 dash is C1V, and we know that Q1 minus Q1 dash, C1V1 minus C1V means V is Q1 plus Q2 upon C1 plus C2, and we can write C1V1 minus C1, Q1 is C1V1 plus C2V2 upon C1 plus C2. It becomes Q1 minus Q1 dash equal to C1 is common, V1 minus C1 is common, V1 minus C1 V1 plus C2 V2 upon C1 plus C2, and C1 plus C2. Now it is V1 C1 plus C2 minus C1 V1 plus C2 V2, and it becomes C1 V1 plus V1 C2 minus C1V1 minus C2V2 upon C1 plus C2, and C1V1 cancel out. It is C1. We can take C2 common. V1 minus V2 upon C1 plus C2. This is the charge which is transferred after the joining. Q1 minus Q1 dash represents the quantity of charge transferred after the joining of both conductors. Now we determine the energy transferred after the joining. Suppose before joining, U1 is half C1 V1 square for first conductor, and U2 is half C2 V2 square, and total potential energy should be half C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square. After joining, suppose energy is U dash and it becomes half C1 V square common potential plus half C2 V square. After joining, potential of both conductor becomes V common potential, and we can write half C1 plus C2 V square or half C1 plus C2 V means C1 V1 plus C2 V2 upon C1 plus C2 whole square, value of V. And now change in energy after redistribution of energy. U is half C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square minus half C1 plus C2 C1 V1 plus C2 V2 square upon C1 plus C2 square. Now C1 plus C2 1 cancel out, and if we take 2 C1 plus C2 LCM, it becomes 2 C1 plus C2. If we take LCM, it becomes C1 plus C2 into C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square minus C1 V1 plus C2 V2 whole square, and U minus U dash equal to C1 V1 square, C1 square V1 square, and C1 C2 V2 square plus C1 C2 V2 square plus C2 C1 V1 square, C2 C1 V1 square plus C2 square V2 square minus C1 V1 square minus C2 V2 square minus 2 C1 C2 V1 V2, 2 C1 C2 V1 V2 upon twice C1 plus C2. This is C1 square V1 square plus C1 C2 V2 square plus C2 C1 V1 square plus C2 square V2 square minus C1 V1 square minus C2 V2 square minus 2 C1 C2 V1 V2. C2 V2 square cancel out, C1 V1 square cancel out, and U minus U dash becomes C1 C2 V2 square plus C1 C2 V1 square minus 2 C1 C2 V1 V2 upon 2 C1 plus C2, and U minus U dash equal to C1 C2 common, V1 square plus V2 square minus 2 V1 V2, 2 V1 V2 upon 2 C1 plus C2, and C1 C2 upon 2 C1 plus C2 into V1 minus V2 whole square. As we know that C1 and C2 are always positive capacitance of the conductor, and V1 minus V2 whole square is also always positive. It means U minus U dash is always positive, or we can say that U is always greater than U dash. If U is always greater than U dash, it means potential energy before redistribution of charges is greater than after redistribution of charges. or we can say that when we join from the wire both the conductors, there is a energy loss.